Do you ever feel like time flies by in the blink of an eye? What if you could capture the passage of time in a unique and creative way, tracking it almost like a diary? Imagine crafting a beautiful piece of art that evolves day by day, telling the story of the entire year. Crafting can be more than making something pretty. Tracking projects combines data and creativity. I've seen crafters track reading trends, moods, and, most popularly, temperatures, all in unique and creative ways. Sure, it requires planning and commitment, but the result is a meaningful keepsake of the year you've lived. Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Maker, and it's a beautiful day to start planning your year-long temperature tracking project. Temperature tracking projects are a creative and colorful way to document the year's highs and lows while crafting something truly unique. I'm making one this year, and you are welcome to join me. Whether you're into paper crafting, beading, knitting, or quilting, temperature tracking lets you create stunning designs with colors that represent specific temperature ranges, added daily, weekly, or even monthly. While these projects are exciting and versatile, careful planning is the key to success, and that's where my free color planning and weather tracking sheets come in. These tools make it easy to organize your project, and I'll show you how to download and use them in just a moment. The best part is, you don't have to do everything at once. Throughout the year, we can check in with each other and see how the projects are going in my Facebook group. I'll be sharing updates too and would love to see your progress. Let's start with the plan. A temperature tracking project is all about turning a year's worth of data into a colorful, creative masterpiece. The idea here is simple. Assign different colors to specific temperature ranges and represent them in your chosen medium. Whether you prefer drawing, knitting, beading, quilting, or crafting with cardstock, there are so many ways to bring your project to life. First, think about what you want to create. It could be a scarf with a row of colors representing daily temperatures, a quilt with seasonal highlights, or even a piece of wall art like the layered cardstock hearts that I'll be making. Keep in mind the scale of your project. Tracking an entire year means a lot of data, so choose something manageable for you and fun to work on consistently. And stick around to learn about a shorter season beginnings project that uses only 28 days worth of data. Here's the start of a scarf. Each day's high and low temperatures could be represented by a pair of stripes. Cooler temperatures might be shown in blues and greens, while warmer days transition to yellows, oranges, and reds. For something more abstract, like a quilt, you can get creative by adding extra details, maybe a special stitch or symbol for days with rain or snow. For this project, we're using weather data to track daily high and low temperatures. I'll show you how to turn those numbers into vibrant, layered cardstock hearts that come together as a beautiful piece of wall art, almost like a paper quilt. If that sounds exciting to you, I'll guide you step by step, from planning and tracking to creating something meaningful. So once you have a goal and a plan, how do you get the data? Some data, like books that you've read or moods that you've tracked, work well with being recorded in a journal or a notebook. If you're using external sources like historical weather records, careful planning is essential to make your project truly shine. With a solid plan in place, you can let your creativity take center stage. Are you ready to dive in? Let me show you how. First, download my tracking tools at jennifermaker.com/706. You can either download right from that link by saving the project, or download from my entire free collection. To find it, look for Libraries in the red bar at the top, and then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. Search the page for design number 706 and click the link to download the designs. The PDF folder contains a color chart and tracking chart to use with any temperature tracking project you choose. I'll open the temperature tracking chart and the temperature color chart in the free Adobe Acrobat Reader software. I'll print both of them, but I recommend at least printing the temperature color chart. This chart is perfect for attaching a sample of the material you're using to each temperature range, keeping everything organized and easy to reference. To stay on top of your project throughout the year, consider keeping all of your planning sheets, charts, and notes together in a binder. Having everything in one place will make it so much easier to track your progress. Stay consistent and enjoy the process from start to finish. This is the temperature tracking chart page. It has space for tracking 10 days, so you can print more copies if you want to prepare to track the entire year like I am. First, let's plan our project's colors. Grab your temperature color chart, a pen or pencil, and the different colored materials you want to use. Fill out the information at the top. Then it's time to choose your temperature ranges. In Michigan, we have all 4 seasons with temperatures below 0 in the winter to over 90 in the summer. So I'll use 10-degree increments, with it 0 or below in the first temperature ranges field, 1 to 10 in the second, and so on. You can have as few or as many ranges as you want. In the color name and number column, write down the brand and color name for each range. That way, if you run out of a material, you'll know exactly what to replace it with. For example, I used Recollections Essentials cardstock in deep navy for 0 or below, dark blue for 1 to 10 degrees, and so on. Now attach a small swatch of each material in the material sample column next to its range and color name. This will make it super easy to stay organized and consistent throughout the year. When you're ready to record data, fill out the temperature tracking chart to go with your color chart. To get your weather data, go to wunderground.com/history. Type in your zip code into the location field. In the drop-down menus, select the date you want. Then click View. This data is often from airports, so searching for Maker Farm shows data from nearby Romulus, Michigan. You can find the high and low temperatures under Summary. If you want data for multiple days at a time, click Weekly or Monthly at the top, then scroll back down to see the daily observations. The high temperature is the max for maximum, and the low is called min, short for minimum. Selecting weekly will show you the data for a few days before and after the selected date. Selecting monthly will show you the whole month. Record the data you need on your tracking chart so you can do the fun part, bringing your data to life. The details depend on the medium and technique you'll be using, but the basics will be the same. Look at your first data point and prepare to represent it. If you're knitting a scarf, cast on the corresponding color at the width you want to make. For quilting, cut a piece of the correct color fabric for the first piece in your pattern. A Cricut is a great way to cut different materials or colors all at once too. Let's go to Cricut Design Space and I'll show you what I'm making. Skip ahead to the Continue Your Project All Year segment if you're ready for tips on staying organized and motivated and don't need the Cricut information. On a blank canvas, upload the SVG file with full year in the file name. I'll make my temperature project with a frame, but you can use the same instructions and techniques to make the unframed version too. If you're using an 18 by 24 inch artboard, your grid is already sized to fit it. I need to resize the grid to fit the opening of my frame. So with the lock icon at the top closed to keep proportions, I'll enter my frame opening's width measurement, then press enter on my keyboard. The grid's height automatically resized to 17.719 inches, which is almost exactly the size of my frame's opening, meaning the full grid will fit my frame nicely. I'm going to cut 10 days at a time, so I'll ungroup the design and select 10 squares. I'll drag them aside. Then select the rest and click Group. Right-click on the group and click Rename, then type in a name for your remaining squares. Then I'll click the eye icon to hide them so they won't be cut on this batch. Select a square. This first one will be January 1st. In the Layers panel, click the arrow next to the square to see both layers. The bottom solid layer will represent the low temperature, and the top with the heart cutout will be the high temperature. Using your color chart and tracking chart for reference, select the layer with the high temperature square, and use the color box at the top to select the color to reflect the day's high. On January 1st, the high in Maker Farm was a whopping 36 degrees Fahrenheit, and that corresponds to the dark teal green cardstock I'm using. So in the color box, I'll click Advanced and select a matching color. Now select the low temperature layer and change its color to reflect the low for that day. On January 1st, the low was 30 degrees, which corresponds to the light blue cardstock. When you're done changing the colors for the pair, select the topmost layer of the squares group and click the arrow to collapse it. Drag it away to keep track of completed days. And then check that day off on your tracking chart. Change the rest to match your data, just keep the ranges, layers, and colors consistent. When they're all changed, drag a selection box around them and click the group icon. Right-click on the group in the Layers panel and rename it to reflect the dates they represent. And that's it. You're now ready to cut. Going one color at a time, prepare and cut your materials following the screen's prompts. I use the medium cardstock setting with more pressure to cut my colors on a green standard grip machine mat. If you want more detailed steps and tips, visit jennifermaker.com/cleanercuts. Since my projects are small and I'm only cutting a few days at a time, I'll save the extra cardstock for the next time I work on a new set of data. Use your tracking sheet or design space canvas to match up the correct layers, then glue them together. Make sure the edges align so your rows and columns will look straight on the board. If you're making a batch of squares, write the date on the back of each one as you go to keep track. Set up your artboard and find the correct spot for day 1. I'll glue mine at the top left corner and make sure it's straight. Continue gluing and attaching your squares in order. Just remember, keep everything straight. Once your first set of data has been added to the project, you can set it aside until you're ready to add more. A year is a long time, so how do you stay motivated without getting overwhelmed? First, remember that crafting is supposed to be a fun way to express yourself. Instead of thinking this is a chore, instead try to see it as a time to think about your experience this year. As you record and create the pieces of your project, some dates might bring back warm memories. A sunny day in your garden, or a cozy coffee with a friend on a chilly January day. Take a moment to reflect on the days that you're commemorating. Not every day will hold a joyful memory, no, and that's perfectly okay. Life is a mix of highs and lows, and they all contribute to our unique story. You don't have to dwell on the tough days, but I hope this project can help you find gratitude for each moment, even if it's just appreciating that some days are behind you. Work on your project at your own pace. As long as you enjoy the process, your project is a success. Whether it's a daily creative ritual or you work in batches, I hope you'll update me on how it's going. And here's a quick tip. Use the Heart SVG in my free download to prepare and cut as few as one square at a time. If you resized your original full year grid, resize the single heart square SVG to match the dimensions of one square from the grid. Then duplicate and customize them as many times as needed for each batch of updates. Share your updates on our social media channels throughout the year so we can encourage each other to keep crafting and making and commemorating our year and our story together. I'll share mine too. Would you like to make a different type of temperature tracking project that is easier and faster? Just look at this 28-day season beginning shadow box. It comes with a fun toolkit of square design symbols for a little extra flair. If you'd like to make this, I invite you to join me in my exclusive advanced program at jennifermaker.com/advance and discover how to create a one-of-a-kind project with my easy-to-follow workshop. Plus, get access to my exclusive toolkit of square designs to take your tracking project to the next level with weather, seasons, and special events. The advanced program is the ultimate upgrade for your crafting journey. With a community of over 14,000 members and counting, this is not just a program. It's a thriving hub for passionate crafters like you. Through detailed workshops and fully customizable templates, you'll gain the skills to create designs that are truly your own, all in a seamless, ad-free learning experience. Enhance your creative process with my exclusive members-only resources, including toolkits, cheat sheets, and design elements. You'll also enjoy early access to a vast library of projects, templates, and tools to keep your inspiration flowing. And to make it even more exciting, we host monthly challenges to spark your creativity and keep the fun going all year round. Enrollment may not always be open, so don't miss your chance to join. Head to jennifermaker.com/advance now to learn more and see how to take your crafting skills to the next level. And I just love how you can use my tracking charts to create all kinds of different temperature tracking projects. They're all so different, but serve as a record for the time they were made and the love you put into them. These projects are also a great opportunity to connect with others, almost like a book club. Invite friends to meet up every once in a while to work on them together. Even if you're using the same data, you'll likely create totally different results depending on your craft of choice. and your colors. This quilt and this scarf both represent the same set of temperature data. And this necklace was made with an entire year's worth of data, with each group of 2 beads representing a high and a low temperature for a day, just like my paper quilt project. So, are you ready to challenge your crafting endurance? Comment below and tell me what kind of year-long tracking project you want to make. And if you want to learn how to customize a season beginnings temperature tracking project with my toolkit of square designs, you absolutely can. I'll show you how to perfectly align your data pieces for a unique piece of weather-inspired wall art. And remember, I'll be checking in with you on your progress across my social media. Links to all of my social channels are in the video's description. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.